really, really want to deepen your vocab, it's not necessarily about going very wide, it's about knowing what each word does specifically, kind of what its history is, and that will inform what the word does now. So I try to be very, very Socratic. So you're going to be answering a lot of questions, right? It's going to be a lot about the other side of this issue, particularly with dramatic works, which I really like doing, where you have like a villain, like a really, really dark-hearted villain. Then my question that I always go back to, and it makes students squirm every time, is like, okay, yeah, I see that they did a terrible thing. Why would you do that, right? What is it in you that would do a similar thing? Because it's art, right? It's talking about something that is unique, not unique to the individual, but kind of universal to every human being. And I think that finding the characters, the things that the characters are about, finding those within yourself is such an important element of actually understanding the meaning of literature, rather than just being like, hey, look, it's a metaphor, I found it, I'll tell the examiner I found it, and hopefully he'll be happy with me. It's like, that's sort of not what we're here to do. So as I say, a Socratic style, lots of questions and answering. Vocab expansion seems to be an issue that students need a lot. So what I do a little exercise with my students when I basically to warm up usually, where we'll look at a work of art, usually a painting. Francis Bacon we get a lot of Francis Bacon paintings, a lot of John Martin paintings, and we grab it thesaurus.com, very good friend of ours, and we try to articulate specifically the center of the mood, right? Not sort of something peripheral. We try to go very, very specifically the center of the mood. And okay, initially it's like, oh, there's sort of a sense of doom here. But eventually we're breaking down to, well, what is the difference between something being inexorable and lethargy? What's the difference between these two feelings and these two words? And when you're doing the exercise correctly, you actually wind up having to ask yourself this question: what is the difference between lethargy and inexorability, and or an inexorable feeling? And then if you really, really want to get deep into this, look into the history of the word, like particularly lethargy, right? We get this from the river Lethe, which the dead drank from to forget their life on earth, and they become kind of sleepy and dreamy, and that gives us this word, right? So if you really, really want to deepen your vocab, it's not necessarily about going very wide, it's about knowing what each word does specifically, kind of what its history is, and that will inform what the word does now. So that's vocab. Other than that, for getting to know characters, but also, if you can, try and have a conversation with them in your head. Try and see what they would say about this situation you're in. Ideally, a situation that you're in that you're actually kind of a bit stressed about or worried about. See what that character would say, because they might have some interesting stuff to tell you, and you're technically studying while also worrying yourself sick, which is like multitasking, which is good. Similarly for poetry, when you're looking at the world outside, not the poem, because you're not being tested on what the poem looks like, you're being tested on what it means, don't stare at the poem. When you're looking at the world outside, try to think, well, what would the poet that I'm studying notice first about this scene? What's the thing that would jump out to them? I see what I see. What would jump out to them? And then you're starting to feel with the poem, feel with the poet. And that can help, again, that process of internalization, which is so critical to deeply understanding the literature. And yeah, kind of do have fun. But also, I guess the most important conclusion is that you're not actually here in pursuit of a credential or a number. These things seem really, really important at this stage in your life, and they're probably important for the whole of your life. But also, you're going to have to spend a lot of time with yourself for the rest of your life. And here you have an opportunity crafted to turn you into a person that you can easily live with. So explore yourself and build those elements of yourself out if you can.